No, it's no. I was joking, by the way, about so.
It's okay. It's
No,
okay.
guys,
We've
I'm-
already accepted that you're. You know, we'll
No.
talk about that.
Guys, listen.
We'll talk about that.
The Beyonce.
The Beyonce.
I'm not- no, that's known.
That's already sounding mad.
So
The Beyonce of podcast. Injure a dude, fam.
Like
He's
guys.
even himself.
There's the
diva.
what it's called the Kandoro starter pack, where the stimulus package Kandoro comes and things happen to the vibe.
Amen to that, brother.
No, we receive it.
I used to be humble about this thing. Then I realized like why?
There's no point.
Because I wanted to make people feel comfortable. Then I realized it's not my problem to make people comfortable.
So here we are. He's not here to make this guys comfortable. He's here just to be himself, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Kandoro in skies.
Is it me or it's warm in here?
It is.
But the thing has been on.
The
breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, if I take this off, right?
yeah.
I'm going to the dad pod.
Yeah. You see what this
That's
t-shirt
okay.
does? This t-shirt hugs my belly.
That's okay.
Like
Don't worry.
mad.
Don't worry about it. And I think you're right in this.
I know. That's why it's gonna be a problem. So I'll just burn. It's okay.
I've mastered the because I have an upcoming dead board.
belly.
Yeah, it's coming. It's upcoming.
It's coming. But I thought
yeah.
you were working on that.
Nah, it's a lie.
So you're lying to everybody, saying that here you're following somebody's.
No, I was, but then I was like, it's hard, man. It's hard. I just want to.
No, but things don't not come easy.
Yeah, I would focus.
You just
on
want to
other
have
things.
the six pack without
Yeah,
without working out, without eating properly.
I don't even want the like. Six packs are for single people. I
wonder what Anithia would say because I see her working out.
But,
Do you work out?
No, but she's not working out for a six pack. You get it? She's
Brent,
working
Do
out.
you work out?
Are we
I-
recording?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do work out, but it's not for a six pack. It's so that things don't.
What's your workout routine?
Oh, I don't have. See, I don't have a routine. If I wake
Bro.
up feeling good,
Anyway,
I'll do my
The
skips.
moment you started, that's it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
these are things that we want to talk about today because we think that guys there's an element of getting comfortable once you get into relationships. Like you're saying, you want to hide your dad bod.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
didn't have a dad bod.
No, I didn't, but I'm getting one.
you're getting
In fact, I've got one.
Yeah.
And it's a problem.
So you're now comfortable.
With the body or with,
With
with myself? Because I'm definitely not comfortable with the body.
Okay. Are you doing anything about it?
From tomorrow, yes.
After this conversation.
Welcome to Blue Therapy.
Blue therapy. Are we going to talk about that here by any?
100%.
Yo.
100%.
Wow.
But yeah, no, let's just introduce you guys because it is amazing to
Hey.
have you all here. To have you both here, all here. Hey, English data bundles. We've been here for a bit today.
Okay. Thank you.
So go for it, Nat.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Girls Guys podcast with me, Natasha.
And Xolie.
I sometimes go by Nat.
And Michelle.
Yeah.
And today,
Drum
roll.
Who do we start with? Do we start with Beyonce or do we start with
I think Beyonce
Rihanna?
should go last. Let's go with
Yeah.
Beyonce should go last.
go with Michelle.
So that she says it all.
When did this? Okay. When did this Beyonce thing start?
The moment.
Did you not?
When did I?
The
You
moment.
said the Beyonce podcast.
No,
The moment-
I thought it. I definitely didn't say it.
The moment
don't remember.
you sent me that text saying that, inini
Oh,
zwangu.
No,
Inini
no.
zwangu,
Actually, thank
I
you
would
for
write-
bringing this up. Thank you for bringing this up. Can I say what happened on this text message? Actually,
Oh, here we go.
We've got evidence, so carry
this
on.
guy said, "Can we?" I was like, "Yes, guys, I will do it." And then they said
is true.
afterwards, "Can we?" Oh no. Are we talking? Because there's two parts where there was a Beyonce behavior. There was the first part where. There was the first part
At least
where
you
they said,
acknowledge
we
it.
want to do an episode with Tinto and you. And I said, no.
He's not actually joking.
I said no.
I was flabbergasted.
I said, no. Tinto has already done his episode.
He's at his moment
He
to
came
shine.
here and did sexual massages. I want to have my own moment.
Oh my God.
I want to have my own moment with this.
Can you clarify that? Because
There's no clarification needed. It already
people are
happened.
going to listen to this for the first
They-
time and assume that this man gives sexual massages.
Nat,
And they'll
when
think
you
that
see
we
that,
had
when you see
something.
that here, Nat,
No, I think I was
No,
sitting
she was
here.
here.
she was looking at Tinto like, explain to me.
She wanted the lowdown of that thing.
She was like, explain to
Ah,
me.
shit.
And I was watching, I was like, wow, this man. So when AKA Michelle said, you are going to, I was like, no,
He's not.
I also want to have my moment.
Yeah.
And then we can do the one with Tinto later. That's fine.
And hereby the birth of Beyonce.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, she said, afterwards, can we take you guys to McDonald's? I was like, McDonald's? McDonald's?
Can you imagine this man?
I was like, Mac, you guys have Petron money. What are you talking? McDonald's?
Can I interject? Because I think I had said Nando's. What happened?
See, she said.
So
Like,
what is
listen,
going on here, lady?
Like, come on, you need to we need to work with the standard that we have, you know.
See? So I was like, no.
This is not Nando's money. This is McDonald's.
I was like, no, McDonald's.
So,
no, it ain't happening.
so then I text Nat and I was like, okay, so both Tinto and MK have agreed and Beyonce have agreed, but Beyonce wants, you know, us to do, because I already said yes, that's absolutely fine. I was like, but Beyonce wants to have his own special segment.
Yes.
So here we are. We are going to do
Thank
a
you.
special segment with
Thank you.
at the end.
So it's
With Uncle Kandoro.
it's you know, sometimes I feel to keep up with like how many names I have to write them.
Yep.
down. It's way too many.
It's a lot.
you are.
It's-
But guys, so introduce yourself. So go for it.
Oh, simple. Tinto. Just simply, I don't have any AKAs. I am literally just Tinto.
yeah.
And
The
you-
feeling station dude. And that's it.
Yeah, like
Who
you can
pay?
imagine
just because I'm
Tinto.
like,
Yeah.
for someone who has the filling station, you're so bad at marketing yourself.
I mean that's also the thing, you know, if you're something as the filling station, I mean it's
Do you know what I'm saying?
you
for
need
yourself.
to introduce yourself.
I mean, when have you ever seen an advert for a Bentley?
It's like
When have you ever seen an advert
So-
for a Bentley?
you know,
It's
so,
not there.
you know,
When have you ever seen an advert for salt?
you know.
It's not there. Oh.
Okay, but imagine we've got a few fresh listeners who are
Okay.
just like, okay, so this is the first
Awesome.
time.
Oh,
and
okay, right, gotcha.
They're going to be like, oh, these guys is it a foursome? Like, what's going on?
Yo, Michelle.
No, but is it
Escalated real quick.
is it like guys? Come on. It's
called
Sunday.
the Tinto effect.
It's Sunday. So let's keep wholesome thoughts. But you know, are they going to be like, oh, it's a group of four? You know what's going on? So just
Okay,
a little bit
so just a bit more body. I'm Tinto, also known as the host for the Feeling Station podcast, which is a podcast that people tune into and they tell me stories about how and why they broke up with people, but more importantly, what lesson there is behind that breakup for those who may be in similar situations to learn. So it's a bit of a cathartic therapy kind of session
Yeah.
that's out there in the public domain.
lovely.
And we could say you should do the same.
I mean,
Except that you don't
Well,
have
like,
a podcast no
yeah.
more.
But you know,
We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm a former podcaster. I realize not my English.
Oh God, we're gonna get into
We
this.
will get it. We need to
Oh
spend
my
some time
God.
with that.
I'm like, I did it. I was like, nah.
It's not enough.
So now I just go around giving people that still do podcasts like stimulus packs, where I just promote and uplift the operation. That's my purpose.
Yeah.
now.
Right.
You know, I've been blessing, you know, like, you know, just laying my hands on it, and things happen.
Things happen.
Things happen for, you know. Yeah, you should see my website. I have testimonials. Papa. It's you know. So even when you were reaching out to me saying, "Can we do it?" I had to check the calendar.
Yes.
I was like
To say what's availability
do I
looking like.
want to do this on the Sunday. I almost said no when you said the McDonald's. I was like,
But that was the thing that made you actually like actually.
yeah, but I was like, let me go there and actually, give them, because also it's I realized that there's when it's a calling, you just
We need tight reins on this one. Mukudze, just introduce yourself.
My name is King Kandoro. I'm a comedian.
Okay.
It's not
Guys,
in the morning.
I think saying I'm a comedian is the best way to summarize what I do, because I have a lot of things that I do that are like sub projects. There's Madhorofiya FM. There's everything is under Madhorofiya Republic, which is like where I do my creative work, and under it you had the podcast Sadza in the morning, which is normal. We have Madhorofiya FM. We have we have my comedy, my stand up, and we have the video stuff, the satirical work, and there's a whole consultancy where I write stuff for people, like script writing and all that other stuff, and some stuff that I don't know if I can speak of because it involves other people other than me.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I try to do I try to stay as busy as I can.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. No. Well done.
And
See
welcome.
you growing and everything. But what the people want to know,
Yeah.
Sadza in the morning. We heard you were doing some Joe Button things.
Yeah. But it wasn't so much Joe Biden, because no one was being cast out. Whoa, the people. Yeah.
But we want to understand, like, you gave us the PR version on the podcast.
Was that the PR version?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
thought I was
100%.
angry.
I thought that was very raw.
I thought that was
Because I listened to it, and after he had said what he had to say, I had to pause and say, "Yo, that was heavy."
yeah.
No. It was. But then, like, I'm like, but that's the real?
Do you know?
Because did Nick want to end the podcast? Or,
because we never really heard, like Nick speaks, but
all right. No, that's one thing that we were on the same page about.
okay.
Right. So there wasn't difference in opinion about ending the
Right.
podcast.
Okay.
Because to be honest, the podcast had become very difficult to make.
Okay.
Because previously, when we started the podcast, we were very broke, young, single men. 5 years later, I'm married with a child. So responsibilities change. What we want out of the podcast, change. For me, in as much as it's still a space to communicate things that matter to us, there needs to be a tangible benefit to it. I can't be here making people laugh for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Because my ita is going to be looking like, but
What's going on there?
What's happening? So those things, and just adding the fact that we're now in different countries, it becomes an obligation of different proportions where Nick could be doing important things during the week, and then suddenly he has to set aside a whole day where he's saying, I'm going to sit down and record the podcast from whatever he's doing in the world, right? So he could be in Blawayo but there's a certain day during the week that he has to sit down and say, I'm going to record the podcast.
Yeah.
And you throw in different Wi-Fi connections,
Yeah.
throw in electricity problems, So if we fail to record on the Thursday, he's going to have to find time on the Friday. Different from when I was in Zimwa, I would just rock up. Hey, switch on the microphone. We're using batteries, and then we talk whatever, and then it I'm also having to set aside time to do that, and you can only get away for so much, with so much until it starts becoming a very glaring what you're getting out of it and what you're putting into it. It was very unfair. So it was very difficult because we loved the podcast. We really loved it. Doing something for 5 years, it becomes part of you.
But I guess, for you guys, you there was I've forgotten which episode that was where you were like, you know what, we are thinking about taking a break, and then you kind of raised money and then you continue. So do you think then things had already started? Because at that point you were still in Zema, if I'm...
Yeah, so originally, like, the podcast was actually meant to end at episode 100. The worst thing that we did was we communicated that thought to people, and people negotiated us out of it, right? Because 100 is a nice number to end. And we were already anticipating that I'm going to move countries, priorities are going to change. But then people came up like, yo, if it's a money thing, hey, look at these pounds. And it was like, yeah, the pounds are nice though, But then after, it was, at the time, it was a very nice, sexy number, right? And it was an incredible thing that the people did to come together and put towards. But then mathematically, after you do the numbers after the fact, it still is nowhere near enough what it's needed to sustain a podcast. That was the cruel thing. So it was now a thing, Kuti, do we continue asking people for 4,000? We know the work that we're putting. We should never emotionally blackmail people to put. People should feel it in their mind. Like, yo, I have something that I want to advertise using this podcast because I know the power that these guys. Why are you guys not? That was my thing. I know people who listen to this podcast. You guys are CEOs, marketing managers of big brands. No one has ever come into my DMs and saying we are thinking. Even if, do you know the crazy thing? Even if it's a thing of saying Sadza in the morning, maybe you guys say things we don't like. No one even came and we had a conversation about changing anything, right? But I know people in so many important positions that would hit like, yo, when you say this word, oh my God, hey. Where's the money though?
Okay.
Where's the so it was those things. I don't want to keep having to call out people, and because it was funny. But I don't want to be known for that.
Yeah.
It's very exhausting.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But I guess, what is it like for you? Because you're, Tinto, also, you're...
Tinto is not allowed to speak. This man, tell them.
Tell them what?
Tell them why you're not allowed to speak. This man got 70 coffees from one. You're not. Yeah,
one person?
Yeah. You're excluded.
I can't even explain that. And the day it happened, I got in touch with Mukudze. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm not sure how I should take this. Is this a typo? Did somebody mean to put 7?
Yeah.
And then when their hand was moved away from the keyboard, it tapped a 0.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hold a couple of days. So I waited a few days. A whole week has gone by. This money is still there. And the person is completely anonymous.
Are you serious?
So they know how to work the system. Because you know how sometimes buy me a coffee.
Can I just, I didn't want to. I knew you were coming onto the pod.
Yeah.
So this is my opportunity just to say, you're welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
I kid.
Wow.
Listen, we need that money ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah, that still blows me away. And the message that came along with that was very encouraging. What the person was basically saying is, I've caught up. I've done my part in listening, and I'm going to do my part in expressing how it really makes me feel. And they went all out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if everybody had that same kind of attitude and approach, we wouldn't be having discussions about Patreon and buying me a coffee and all of that stuff, because it becomes sustainable.
Yeah.
But hey, whoever that person is, yo,
Guys,
like,
No.
girl in skies, buy me a coffee.
I know, buy me a coffee will come first. but then, okay, let's talk about this. Then we can talk about the Joe Biden thing. So like, I get you, because I've been thinking about like the podcast space and how do you keep it sustainable. Patreon is one way, but I guess, and I think Mukudze, like, I've listened to like almost every episode. So I think you've always made good points about, and I think from me, like, I look at the community that you've built and like, oh my God, it's an engaged community that's not just engaged in listening, but actually willing to,
give,
deep in the pockets, right? So I think there's a number of things in my mind. There's kind of like just the podcast world. It's a fairly new industry, really, like 10 years, no more than 15 years, definitely, right? And so when I think about it, it's kind of like, okay, when you look at podcast sustainability, we've got podcasts across, the world. And it's kind of like, for me, it's like, it's the why you do the podcast, right? I think it's the question that you have to keep coming back to, like, why do you do it? Because in my mind, right, I'm like, oh, okay, Mukitse is ending the podcast. But then I'm like, having a podcast is a way of, you get that attention economy, right? So then all the other stuff you're doing that's money making almost comes from, because if you look at it, it's only the American podcasts that have really managed to I think make money off it. Everyone else, even in the UK, right? All the UK podcasts, no one makes money off podcasts. It's only the Three Shots, the Receipts podcast that have Spotify exclusive deals.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they make money. And then even when you look at relying on listeners, the reason why maybe America does better is because they've got a tipping culture, right? So they understand the okay, if I get a good service, I will tip.
And also the numbers support that kind of, like, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. But then so it's kind of like, okay, because I think with Sadza in the morning, it's that pioneer. What does Jay-Z say? Like, like if you're the first one to kind of go, like you get all the fights and like all the bruises off it. But then I don't know, because it's kind of like, okay, because relying on listeners itself is not sustainable. It's not a business model in any way. And it also feels like if you're talking to African audiences, there's a bit of education even with corporate of, okay, podcasts are a vehicle. I remember there was this women in media conference thing where I forget her name. What's her name? Muzenda. Anyway, I forget her name. She interviewed us and then she did like a presentation where she'd spoken to us and a number of other
Marco.
Yes. And so she did a presentation at that conference and it was just talking about there's work that needs to be done to educate businesses on alternatives to traditional media. So it kind of feels like, Mukse, like in 2-3 years time, we'll get there, but it'll take us because the audience itself, like Patreon, yes, because maybe it's exchanging a product in a way. You're saying you get this, you give us this.
No, it's to your point. This is why I feel like every podcast I go to, they need to have like a gift for me ready because they need to, because the podcast is there to die for you guys to survive. Because
Christ. Now you're comparing yourself to Jesus.
Not my words.
That's our gift to say.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Hear me out.
Here we go.
Immediately after Sadza in the Morning died, there was a whole shock value of, oh my God, this is what happens when you don't support podcasts.
When Tinto gets
and
210 pounds.
No, when you sent me that message, I was like, yo, we need to work out a percentage. Because, clearly.
This is the Sadza in the Morning effect.
When he called me, I thought that's what he was. He was like, bruh, I'm confused. I was like, don't be confused. I know what. Give me so I'm here now. I'm saying, guys, I mean, this is nice, but I want money. I'm going every Zimbabwean podcast. I want 6 foot waist. They paying me in Bitcoin. Terrible week for those guys. Two broke twimbos. We have a payment plan. Working out, but I just needed to communicate. That I did it for you.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, let me respond.
Right.
Mukitse, I hear you. Remember your episode?
I knew immediately as you said it.
I hear you.
Nah, man. There were so many incredible moments from that podcast that it makes me so happy to know how it grew into, because even the messages that came afterwards when we announced it, like it was so many beautiful messages of tribute of what it meant to people and how they had grown with it, and people also made me angry because I'd never seen these people before.
Yeah.
When the
Silent
podcast
listeners.
Yeah, because I was like, why are you showing up now? You know, it would have, not even monetary wise, it would have nice to know these things when we could still share them on the podcast.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but we live and learn, you know.
Yeah.
We live and learn. I hope it the reasons why the best way to look at the ending of Sadza in the Morning is like this for me. Look, I love creating stuff. I think everybody knows that now. Just think of the amount of free time I have now and the kind of things that I'm going to be creating with that free time.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that I'm ending the podcast to spite anyone. We joke about it like we're joking now, but it's really, I realize like I can take this time away and then create something better that I think will be edifying for both me and the audience. Because 5 years later, there's no challenge for me to do this anymore. You know, I'm just sitting down making jokes. It's second nature to me. Let me try to challenge myself creatively and see what else so there's a lot of things that are going to come and replace Sadza in the Morning, and I think people will enjoy it just as much.
No, that's awesome. That's really nice. One of the things that we wanted to talk, and you touched on it very briefly, about how the changes that you have, you know, the change that have happened in your life. You know, you're married now, you're a father.
Yes.
And Tinto, this is something that, you know, I know you've also got a young, how old's your boy?
3. He's turning 4 in 2 weeks.
Oh, lovely. So you also kind of in the same space. But how do you, like, after hearing Kudze kind of describe that, you know, his role has changed and this is who he is now, and he's, you know, making space for that, for him being a father, for him being a husband in his life. And sometimes if you're doing podcasting and you're not getting the 270 coffees, like how is that fitting into your life?
It's difficult. So there's moments when, about 2 weekends ago, I put a message to say, guys, I just need to lie in. The episode is going to drop late. That's because the previous night I'd spent a lot of time with my son just chilling and hanging out. I normally edit on a Friday evening, but because we had such a good time, the thought of me putting him to bed and then getting up to edit was just too much. And then first thing in the morning, he comes up and says, "Good morning, Papa."
Oh.
So already I'm giving him time. So it genuinely does become much, much more difficult when you have family to look after, which is why the coffees and the support do make this difference, because it almost feels transactional that you guys are supporting me, so I'm going to be consistent in supporting you back and giving you what you need. So in the absence of that, it starts tipping the scale in a way where you start thinking, okay, how long can I keep this going for? We spoke about this last week.
Yeah.
I said to him, hey, bruh, I don't know if I'm going to keep pushing at this. And he goes, Tinto, you can't say that. Think about why you started this thing and where you want it to go and make it work around that.
Yeah.
So for me, the vision continues that it should be a revenue stream for me of some sort.
Absolutely.
And this is going to happen in 2 ways. Through the support of patrons, people who want to give because they want to give, the generosity of those people, and advertising. There's a podcast that was advertising on the filling station for a period of about a month and a half. That was paid work. And that's the vision that we would like to get and move forward. But let's talk about target audience. My target audience for now is predominantly African. It's broadening. But how many African people are ready to commit a certain amount of money, which is now black tax?
Yeah.
It's a luxury for them.
Yeah.
So that's going to constantly feel like we won't ever really hit that target. So I won't lie to you. The Sadza in the AM vibe of thinking, yeah, okay, I think it's time, is starting to knock on my door. And I don't know if the money side of things is enough to sustain it.
Okay. But can I ask, like, do you think there is something about parenthood? Because you didn't think about, you know, you said it was like it was like second nature for you, that you would just, you know, you and Nick would just meet up and be like, okay, we're recording batteries, whatever it was. But then, you know, when you definitely, I think I noticed a bit of a change when you started talking about Maita and you're like, oh, you know, you mentioned it right now that, okay, but what is my son going to be thinking? Or what is, and you even said, what is my wife going to think? If I'm putting in all these hours and not getting anything. And it's the same thing that you're kind of mentioning as well, that, you know, actually my son is taking priority. But how is there no way to kind of have the best of both worlds?
So I think I understand your question perfectly and touching on to respond to what Tinto said. Guys, I'm going to fight this battle for you. The filling station is going to end anytime. No, but it's for selfish reasons, like unrelated to your. I don't think we any other podcast need to end unless I've pointed myself arbiter of podcast. People need to file reasons why and then I can approve. But that's so. With regards to podcast support, monetary or not, the thing that I realized, the reason, the reticence in supporting podcasts is people watch your life, right? People watch and they will say, but Kandoro, why should we send money to the podcast? You seem to be doing well.
Mm-hmm.
But Tinto, you guys, she posted
Girls with Meg.
Girls with Meg.
Guys,
Like, how is that supposed to help?
No, but not to post holiday in America.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
It's
and
true.
and as you should. As you should. As you should. Tinto's world, like his real life world, nothing to do with anything creative.
Yeah.
It's not creative work.
Yeah.
He does incredibly well in his life. I have other things that do incredibly well. That doesn't negate that this podcast needs support. Why? Because I'm doing the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the other stuff that I'm doing is doing well because I'm being... the money or the whatever I'm getting out of it is in direct relation to the work that I'm doing there.
Mm-hmm.
There cannot be an overlap that if I'm doing well in stand-up or in satire, that should cover for the podcast.
It should stand on its own.
Those hours are still happening.
Yeah.
Does how well I'm doing at the satire, does it cut down the hours that I'm doing here? You guys still have to. How long have you guys been in this studio?
Today.
Yeah.
You've put in the hours, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing well in your individual life, Mac or no Mac, what does that have to do? Did you buy the Mac with podcast money?
Exactly.
So why does somebody have to come to you and say, no, but you guys seem to be... No, but I'm saying, passion or not, the hours have been put in. The work has been done. You appreciate the work. You love the work. You are saying it means a lot to you. Let me see it. It's as simple as that. And it's not an aggressive conversation, but it becomes an aggressive conversation if we have to say it like this, because the assumption should be, you guys see this. So now when we throw in the issue of parenthood,
Yeah.
right? When I throw in the issue of parenthood, these things were already there before I was a parent, but the urgency now.
Yeah.
Changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me being a husband put things into perspective, because the things that we were kiki-keying with my wife before, we can't be kiki-keying because at the end of the day, the bills have to be paid.
Yep.
Before we were boyfriend and girlfriend, she wouldn't call me and say, hey, babe, rent is like this. I wouldn't call her and tell her that fuel is like this. We were just handling that on our own. But now we are a unit now. We're doing the mathematics. Okay, and then, so now imagine a situation whereby she has to work. Because it's two of us, right? She has to work, right? And I'm saying I'm recording the podcast on Thursday. Maita has no one to take care of. She's going to look at me like, are you honestly telling me that I have to put aside the work that I do? That's definitely giving us so that you can record a podcast so that people can kiki on Twitter.
It's funny you give that analogy. That is my same reality. If somebody says, hey, Tinto, can I do an episode? First thing I say is, let me check when I can actually do it, which is when the missus is home to have little man.
Yeah.
In the absence of that, I literally cannot do it. So it's that balance now to say, okay, am I going to give time? It's funny you say that. People just want to go, kick, or no.
Yeah.
Because that's precisely what it is. It's Twitter reactions.
Yeah.
It's
deep.
No, it is. I just wanted to ask about Mukase moving to the UK. Because I think you've talked about the fact that most of it has been pandemic time. I mean, what a Yeah, I mean, you timed that really well.
Man's
haven't
been
seen
locked
any-
up.
Yeah, so just how that has been, like your year plus in the UK. Is it what you? Because I know people will be like, oh, it's not as great as I thought it would be. You know, has that been your reality? And also, you know, what good things have come from moving?
Do you know? I'm an optimist, so I don't struggle with this as much. I say it because I'm an optimist and I love laughing at things. But it's really been a 419 scam. This whole it's a scam.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it. It's helped a little bit by the fact that, you know, back home, the guys back home in charge, they're not making life easy for everyone. So you kind of like, I guess in that sense, it's a good thing, but it's really a scam. Because we're supposed to be in summer right now. What?
Yo,
yeah.
summer is not
Prepare
about
yourself.
to come knocking on the
You
door.
know. But, you know, my wife and I collaborated on a baby.
Well done.
We collaborated,
Amazing.
collaborated on a baby, dropped the album in January.
MJ.
And let me tell you, I've never, do you know the thing is, before, I used to watch movies, right? You know, when you're watching a movie and it's one of those spy movies or like drug movies, and there's a confrontation between the boss and the police, and then the boss is shot, and then the bad guys keep fighting. I always used to be confused. Like, why are you still fighting? The boss has died. You need to be applying for jobs. Your employment is done. I never used to understand that level of loyalty until my son came. Right? Looked at this unemployed little person. I would do anything for him.
Yep.
You know, I would do anything. I looked at him, I was like, yep, the podcast is done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I looked at him, I was like, yo, listen, man, the jokes need to get better. You know, the quality of the things that I was doing before, I need to be better as a human being. You know, that level of loyalty, it's an incredible. I haven't, this is my longest, the longest that I've been away from home. First time, his mom, it looked at me, and it's first time he's seen me on the phone. And this man was like,
That picture was amazing.
I was shocked because I expected to look at him, right? I didn't expect him to recognize me.
Yeah.
So he was in the middle of actually like doing because he's struggling. Then he sees me, he's like, I was like, what?
He was literally ecstatic.
Yeah.
So it's things like that where you're like, man, how can I not be better?
Yeah.
And they have an incredible way of just making life mean much more. You know, so it's in that regard, being here has really paid. Because the reason why I came at the time that I did, we didn't know how long lockdown was going to be. So it was like, you know, I would rather be stuck together rather than, you know, apart. And so I was like, hey man, I already have my visa. Let me just come. But the plan, if things were normal, I still had stuff that I wanted to do, film and then come, you know, but it was like, hey man, this lockdown situation, we don't know. Let's just come and be stuck. And turns out to be the best thing that we saw.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just gonna say, I remember like when I saw, because I follow you guys on socials, and then when I saw, I think Anicia posted like where she was like, oh, Jaman, like when she was looking at them, and I was like, oh my god,
cute.
because actually I know I have some friends who kind of got married same time as you. I think they got married in November. You guys got married in December, right? And it's a very similar situation. One person in Zim, one person here. When I tell you that the girl was one in Zim, I think she came here. When was it? October? Because of the delay. So I was like, oh my god, like you got you chose the perfect. Because then there was a time where they were now cracking it down, and it was now so hard to come. And I don't know their issues or when they got the visa, but it just took all of 2020 to even get this. So I was just like, oh man, you guys just
The right
Perfectly
time.
timed.
Can we just talk a little bit about fatherhood? And I think because you are both young Black males in the diaspora raising two sons. And I'm curious because there is so much, you know, there's so much that happens out in the diaspora. So in terms of like even the black child. So, there's the added pressures of being a black male child, So there's a lot of information that we know, in terms of stop and search, in terms of crime, but how do you guys feel about being fathers in the diaspora? And how are you, like, what values are you putting into your kids to ensure that they're safe, that they are loved, that they are affirmed? And also, just to kind of throw it in there, if you remember to answer this, is like what your fathers put in you that you'd want to see in them. So that's a very long question.
It's a very loaded question.
Yeah.
The easiest thing to remember is the last question you asked about what our fathers put in us. The one thing my father put in all of us as kids is constant presence. I can't think of a day, a time, a moment that my father was not there for me financially. He was not there for me emotionally.
Wow.
He was not there for me spiritually. So those three elements of my life are full to the point that they actually run over. And now they're spilling over to my son because it's second nature. I don't know how to be absent spiritually. I don't know how to be absent financially. I don't know how to be absent physically.
That's amazing.
So already, that's one benefit from my dad. Second benefit is my dad was very, very big on respecting people, particularly elders. And that is transcended over onto me. And the one thing I'm encouraging my son is to be very respectful of the people around him. As young as he is, he gets it. So simple words as thank you. If you say anything to Hanashe, it's going to be followed by thank you. Give him an apple, thank you, Papa. And I was having a conversation with Mukudze about this just last night. The last thing that's extremely important to me is understanding your heritage and who you are as a person. Because I think if you get that down to a T, it becomes difficult for you to dissociate from yourself, later on in life. I think we spoke about the last time we were here. My son has one name. He's Anashe Maposa, full stop. There was no requirement for him to have a middle name that is not Shona Ondebele because I wanted to be very clear about that. That's element number one. Element number two, language. Right? He's growing up in a country where he'll pick up English anyway. And the analogy I always give, think about the countries that are performing exceptionally well, apart from Australia and the US. What languages do they speak in? France, they speak in French. Spain, they speak in Spanish. Italy, speak in Italian. In Singapore, they speak in Malay. In Japan, they speak in Japanese. No one cares about English. That should tell you something. So for him, he needs to understand his language because I think it roots you and gives you confidence in something as well. And I don't want him to miss out on that. So for me, those are the things that are really important and they have to be passed on. So those are the things that I'm getting him very aware of. We recently moved out of London for a very deliberate reason. Crime in London is huge. I was in southeast of London, not too far from Woolwich. We drove past Woolwich this morning with Mukudze and I was showing him how crazy it is. On the left-hand side of the road, you got the old Woolwich, which looks really run down and crime is rife. And it's literally separated by a road. And you got Royal Arsenal on the right-hand side, which is posh and not a single hint of crime. How do I know which side my son is going to land up in? I didn't want to have to worry about that risk. So we moved out of London. Got to an area that's got significantly less crime in terms of guns, shooting, stabbings, etc. But I've got a different challenge. We are evidently in the minority. Clearly in the minority. My my neighbor is a head teacher at a school. The one thing she said to me was, the school that your son is getting into, be sure that either you or the missus are in the PTA.
Oh, really?
In the absence of you guys being in the PTA, I can almost guarantee your son is going to get left out.
Gosh.
Wow.
And how do I deal with that? I don't know. Because I haven't been exposed to it. So I've got a real issue. I don't know how to navigate that.
Yeah, man, it's tough. every evening, Maita and I sit and I say, son, and he says, dad.
Right. Yeah, 3 months, yeah.
He's a pretty advanced baby, you know. No, it's tough, man. I don't know. I don't know how we are going to navigate it, but I'm grateful to have, you know, I'll learn from what he's doing. You know, I think that there's comfort in that knowing, you know, I will have somebody to look up to and say, okay, he navigated, I can do better. And even like, you know, I'm fortunate enough to have a community of, you know, my in-laws are here, you know, so I don't have my family here, but my in-laws are here and they're very loving people, you know, so I know we'll have, you know, a net in that too. When we have, you know, he will have reference points, people to talk to and people to say things in his language, people who sound the way that, you know, we sound. So we have, and, you know, trying to go back home as frequently as possible. That's something that, Maita or not, that's something that was important to me and my wife, you know, because again, the issue of identity, you can see it in his name, Anon's Maita, you know, his mother wanted to chase away some demons and called him Jacob just to balance that. You know, she was like, yo, you know what, we have to balance Jacob with blessings. I was like, fine, you know. But Maita is his first name, you know, because as a people, as a family, we are very grateful for the hands that we've been dealt with so far, you know, and he's such a, you know, he was our little blessing. But like, it's even I think you guys have seen like how I talk to my wife. It's we are very, very, very Zimbabwean about how. So, you know, our house is full of laughter and slang and just stupid, like we call each other Jama. Those are the kind of like, and it's an ode to where we come from, right? And as we grow, there's something that he said to me yesterday about identity when he was I'm struggling because it was a very beautiful thing that he said about fatherhood, but I'm trying to quote it. I want to say it the way he said it. So, but generally, for me, it's going to be very difficult. That much is very clear to me. But I think I owe it to myself to try and do better because my father was not as present as he would have loved to because he was busy. You know, my father lost his father when he was in grade 4. So he never grew up with an example of what, and he grew up with the idea that being a father meant to provide. And because Zimbabwe is set up the way that it is, he ended up having to do several things to just make sure that we were taken care of. So we never wanted for anything because my father was a very busy man. And we saw him, he's a funny dude, he was there. But I don't have memories of conversations with my father where he was sitting me down and telling me, or even just passing down, you know, family history. Like we would have those moments, but they're few and far in between because he wanted to make sure that the things that are important are, and I think for the greater part, that is the case of many Zimbabwean children, where our parents are all over the place doing, you know, trying to make sure that the basics are taken care of. There's a roof over the head. There's, you know, people are going to school, you know, things like that. So he wasn't, so because my circumstances are different, my involvement in Maita is very, I don't think my father ever changed my diaper. I don't think my father ever fed me from the bottle. No, that he didn't want to. But because one, you know, the patriarchy doesn't like the yucky.
Allow it.
The yucky.
Doesn't. Can I just chip in that on that one? When my son was 8 weeks, my dad came over to to see him. And because I heard my mom once upon a time saying, your dad never fed any of you guys, it was important for me to hand him that bottle.
Yeah.
I gave him the bottle. And guess what he says? What do I do with this?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like he was absolutely clueless. So I didn't respond to leave him to try and figure it out.
Yeah.
So now he was trying to figure out, okay, how do I hold this boy in a way that it was the funniest thing to see.
Yeah.
But after it clocked and he fed him, guess what he said? Is there another bottle to give him?
Yeah.
He enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
So I get this thing that you say when you say you're not sure that your dad ever fed you.
It's things like even things like diapers, or even just basic involvement in the baby. Like I know the first time Maita did certain things. Like I know the first time that he attempted to crawl, or the first time that he stood on, or the first time that he smiled, or the first time we heard him laugh. Like things like that. I know all those things, lockdown or no lockdown, I would love to think I would have been involved, right? So that level of involvement, I think so far, it helps me, it helps him. You know, I don't think if I wasn't involved, you would have been able to identify and recognize me on FaceTime. You know, things like, but so I think now, because my father is still alive, he has an opportunity now to be because he's his first grandson.
Yeah.
Right. So he is very involved now in his, like everybody's he's asking for pictures, he's, things like that. So I think I definitely have the upper hand in having my father still alive. He gets an opportunity to pass on whatever our family history, our family identity. I get to, it's a whole, it becomes like this, that infinity sign that is very interconnected, and we are just learning off each other. So it's incredible for what it does. I think even on the side of like just unlearning things like patriarchy, right? Because my wife and I do, like we have. It's a subconscious thing, but we do little competitions, like who is the quickest nappy change, right? Who can get the baby to sleep quicker, who, like it's a stupid things to compete about, but they've become so second nature that we don't, like, I've never had a moment where my wife is telling me like, oh, can you, like things like cleaning or changing the dishwasher or those things just happen, right? Mainly because of how the things that I saw now my mother dealing with, right? I'm very intent on making sure I'm not making those things a point of conversation.
Right.
And I think in the end, those values, mistakes or not, Maita will grow up with more or less the same. So the world can throw as much as it throws, but I know Kuti, we will die trying.
Yeah.
We will definitely die trying. Like, worst comes to worst, Maita will be a respectful, drug dealer. Because you can fight as much as you want, but if he becomes a drug dealer, he becomes a drug dealer. But he will be a responsible and respectful,
wealthy.
So I'm just saying that because there was a lot of I just wanted to change the mood. In this show, I was like,
now you did that well. You did that well.
Becoming too somber in here.
Okay, just one more right? No, because I think it's an interesting point that you guys talk about, because it sounds like in some way you're both talking about physically present dads, but yours is different, but emotionally maybe not as present. And I think that seems to be a theme. Like I know a lot of people like, my dad was like physically in the house, but did he even talk to us or, whatever. So I guess my sort of question is, okay, do you think that if you were in Zim, if both of you were in Zim, you would have still had, like what you're talking about, not having gender roles and both. Is Zim fatherhood now, like young guys in Zim now, who are having kids, are they as involved? Or is it, because sometimes this is just my observation, it kind of feels like that's the good thing about the diaspora sometimes. Because it forces everyone to mark
you don't
in.
really have a choice.
Yeah, because people are working, everyone is busy.
He said yesterday, the thing that he said, made a point. This is not the thing that I was referring to, but I just remember you made a point yesterday about the unavailability of housemaids and remove that choice where you, as a husband, you might leave or those duties say, the helper or the maid would. So as a husband, these two people would deal with whatever, right? But here in the diaspora,
it's not there.
That person costs just as much as so it's a luxury. But to answer your point, which is a very brilliant and very important question, I think it's made of two things. It's a thing of information, and it's a thing of it's mainly a thing of information. So when my father grew up, when my father was growing up, he didn't have a chance against patriarchy, even if he had wanted to, which I don't think even to this day, I don't think he's aware of things like, patriarchy, bigotry, in the way that we talk about them, right? He just knows that varume vanogezwa maoko. For him to know that that's patriarchy, varume vanoningirina vanhu vanobikirwa isi tongosvikawo todya. We just eat.
Out of curiosity, just whilst you're around that, is it important for you to get your maoko gezwa? It's
it's
no?
not. I don't.
Is it for you? Is it for you?
Hell no.
I don't care about
In
that.
fact, I actually don't even want to see a dish.
That's so. I'm saying that like when they grew up, it was the way of life. No one was questioning it. So everyone was growing up. There's no other information that opposes this. You grow up like that. I have no excuse as to why I would subscribe to patriarchy. Why? Because I know better. So it becomes a choice. If you see somebody my age saying, they are choosing to be that way. Because you have been on Twitter. You have seen this behavior being called out. You have been on Facebook or whatever. You've seen patriarchy, bigotry, all these things being called. So if you are practicing that, it's a choice. It's you saying, nah, I'm not going to be involved in my child because that's a woman's business. It becomes that thing of you have the information. All the information that is required, because the benefits of not being involved, the benefits of being involved in your child far outweigh any perceived benefits of not being. There is actually no reasonable excuse for somebody to say, the women raise children. Do you want to catch up with the child when they're 10 years old? Because this person will look at you like, who are you? Why are you showing up now? It's too late in the game for somebody to. So if we were in Zim, like I think right now the people, your question was if we're in Zim with the situations. I honestly, because the information, I had this information when I was still in Zim, so I think it would still be the same.
Okay,
my involvement would very much, because I have this information where I know better, and I am intent on correcting that narrative where my wife is a working wife. She goes to work. So what excuse do I have that we are working the same hours, right? That I would say, she comes home from work and then she will cook. What did you do?
And you've been home all day.
You've been home all day. And even like if we're looking at it specifically to what I can't tell my wife who has been doing a 9 to 5. Don't you know my jokes? And then she skit. Is that what you're telling me to our neta? Because this person was calculating scientific facts and all these, So I have no excuse. I have nothing to fall back on. And I would like to think that most young people, I see it, the numbers are not anywhere near enough. Because I think we talked about so many things last night, but it was pretty much this. It's that resistance of you know when things are dying off,
Yeah.
when something's on its last legs, and there's that final resistance. Because to be honest, there's no one who can argue for patriarchy. You can say no, but there's some things that are nice. You know? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing apart from the biological functions that we can't perform. Each of us, no one can say like you can't. No, but women breastfeed. There's formula, Baba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, there's a bottle, Baba. Nappies, do they have a gender?
And you know, there's breast pumps.
There's breast.
You know, they can pump that stuff out too.
So there's this video that's going around social media with this. It's just a picture. No, it's a video of mother, a baby and the husband. Have you seen it? And it just kind of gives a timeline, you know, from night. It's like, I guess it's nighttime and how active the baby is.
Yeah.
And the mom is very much, you know, she's the person who's cuddling the baby. She's breastfeeding.
Yeah.
The man is the whole night in one position, eyes closed.
At some point, he disappeared.
Yes.
He
Probably to another room.
But
to get
did you realize he left his phone? I was like,
Oh, exactly. I saw it. I was like,
Come,
so at first I was thinking,
come on,
maybe
Nat.
he's gone to the
Come on.
maybe he's gone to the bathroom.
on,
I was
Nat.
like,
no, for me, I was like,
Nat-
oh, what a faithful man. He left his phone.
Nat was like, wake up, girl. Wake up, girl.
didn't even put it under the pillow or anything. He just left it on the bed.
Yeah, but is it locked or unlocked?
No, I saw that video. I saw that video, and I thought, do you know what? I'm of two minds. I'm of two minds because it's I don't know how old the baby is.
They said 11 months.
No, 17. I hate that number.
Oh,
17. 17.
Yeah, so that's
17.
1 year something.
Yeah.
A year and a half.
It's a grown-ass. Because I think at the end the baby walked off the bed.
Another one came on. Another one came on.
I
Yes.
was like, this are grown up. But I was going to say, like, you know, definitely that was a moment for at some point, because the baby kept some point lift the baby up and relieve, you know, take a walk.
Yeah.
Soothe the baby. Let's let the video show that you tried to do something. But then also at the same time, because I actually thought the baby was younger. I thought it was there was around 6 months, or because there's genuinely certain points where you can't do anything. The baby is breastfeeding.
Oh, really?
Like when the baby is feeding in the middle of the night, the only person that can give, because speaking to my situation, what would happen, right? We later learned, because I would have like night duty. So I would have these bottles, I would feed Maita. But what would happen is that for me to do that, Maita would have to wake up, right? So he would have to wake up for me to feed him. But getting back to bed would be the struggle, because he's now fully up. He's like, what up? Because the bottle, I have to warm it up first, you know, and then it has to cool down a little bit. That's at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
When it's done, it's like, hey, what's happening? What's happening? So putting him back to, he's like, hey. And then when we learned, like, when his mother takes him and then just, she's half asleep, he's still sleeping.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
physically now it's less of a hassle. He doesn't really wake up. He does. He's angry. We continue sleeping. Right. Whenever I would try like going downstairs, warming up, he's like, hey, chief, do something, entertain me. I want to play now.
Yeah.
So when I saw, that was my first thought. But then that video was pretty long. He at some point, especially now that you say the baby's 17 months, take the baby for a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that little person can walk.
Yeah.
Where's this video?
It's on Twitter. I was
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't?
So, no.
It
No,
was
it
It was quite interesting just to see, like, and I initially I thought that the baby was a lot younger as well, because then you see 17 months, you're like, oh, that baby's still in
Like,
the parents' bed at that time. Like, how old was your son when you kicked him out into, or is he
freedom.
Yeah.
He occasionally creeps in. So if he sleeps around 6, 7-ish, anytime before 8, he'll get knocked out until about 2 a.m. in his room, and then he screams, "Hey, you know, where are you? Where are you? Where are you?" Comes into the bed, sleeps, take him back.
Okay.
And that's it. So he's out, at least at that point. But it took a while to get to that point because you don't know how to do it. Holding these little people, man, is, hey, in Shona we say we definitely made that mistake. Without realizing that this is what's happening, because as soon as they cry, first thing you want to do is soothe them.
Yeah.
And you see, when you hold those little people, I don't know what it is, man. It's just difficult to put them down.
Yeah.
But now it does. But it took a while.
It took a while.
Yeah, and I can't confidently say that it was down to deliberate training. It was pure luck.
So just a question: would you guys do couples therapy?
What's that? Like
blue
blue therapy.
Because have you been watching blue
Yo,
therapy?
I try to stay away from things that will make me cuss.
Bro.
I'm trying to set a good example.
Bro.
I saw the clips. I was like, you know
Mad.
what? It's this is ridiculous. Do you know? But the funniest thing that came out of that, the funniest thing that came out of that whole situation was that guy say, "Hey!" I was like, this is TV gold.
And then there was a part who's like, oh, you know, she's listening to Wizkid, like what in the village?
You know, from the village. Do you know?
Tinto, I know you've been. This is
I started watching it because of you.
That show moved me on so many levels. Episode 1, I felt a type of way. I did not like Jamal because I thought this man rolls his eyes way too much for a male. Right? He does it too damn good.
Yeah.
Episode 2, I loved him because he was talking about being focused and buying a home, and his missus just wanted a Gucci bag and fly to Greece. Episode 3, I was like, yo, fam, you're moving a bit mad. Episode 4, Jamel, piss off.
So help me understand. So is it 4 episodes of the same couple?
Yes. Two couples.
Two couples.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you have one that I decided to call Baba Paul. Because it looks like
That guy.
Paul is the one you've probably seen clips of.
Honestly.
For me, the thing that really stood out in the last episode, you remember when you spoke about being attached to your roots and being culturally grounded.
How important that is.
This guy says, why would I be in Peckham with a $2,000 suit eating Nigerian food?
Can you imagine?
Are you mad?
Do you know what? I did see a picture of him the other day in this very studio in a 2K suit.
Yes. He said,
You know,
Fred.
if
I don't know if you know 3 shots.
No.
Were you there when Paul was here?
he was here
Yeah, he was here.
in a 2K suit.
That's Paul?
He said it. Like he's been saying on Blue Therapist, like, I turn up in my 2K suits.
Dude, come on.
Let me find the picture.
But why does he look?
I think Brett took the picture of them.
Was it a fun episode? He looks awkward. Was it a fun? Because he was the clip that I saw of the promo, right? He was sitting awkwardly, he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be on." I was like,
Stays in character.
Really?
during the episode.
Really?
Right.
Every single time he goes on a podcast or he has like teasers Instagram live, he stays in character.
Right.
Keep the thing going.
So it's a character.
Yo, look at him.
This is the Friday's episode.
Do you know what? Right, roots are so important. They are so important. He almost sounds like he's denouncing his Nigerianness just so that he can fit in the people from Mayfair. And yet you got the likes of Simon Cowell who have a hell of a lot of money, but he's always in the jeans and t-shirts.
He lost me, right? Where he was like, oh, as someone who has, a guy with crypto accounts and high interest accounts. I was like, what in the 6 foot weights is going on here? What?
And what high interest is he talking about? Interest rates are at their lowest for years. So what are you on about, really?
Yeah. Okay, so there was a situation though where one of the Paul and Choma what was it? Oh, the part where he said was when she was talking about his sister. Right. So she was like, oh, there's basically she doesn't have a great relationship with his sister and doesn't appreciate that the sister brings the kids over to their
She
place.
says dump the kids.
Yeah, right. So his was like, hey, you're really exposing
really,
this.
yeah.
So what do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about, navigating that relation, when you're a couple and just how you almost protect your relationship versus families, like, I don't know, family that, because for me, right, that's the only thing that I was like, oh, Chioma. I don't know if this is the African social life. I was like, oh man, you don't like put your business out there like that, like family.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like, what she said was, they're not, these guys are not married. And I wouldn't have used the word dump, but, there's also expectations. Like, there's levels to your relationships. And then if you're now being used as a babysitting service. Anyway, that's another point.
You see, but I put that down to lack of exposure to what it's like to have children. You just said you wouldn't use the word dump because you know what it means. He would never use the word dump because you know what it means. I would never use the word dump. She's not a mother, so she doesn't know not to use the word dump. And then her argument was, then I see her going and having a good time. Parenthood is tough. We should be okay to go out and have a good time.
Everybody deserves that one.
Yeah, everybody does. What I think was out of line was her calling it out like that. I don't think it's the sister's problem that she needs to take some steam off. What I have a problem with was Paul's comment to say, those are my sister's kids. If you love me, you should love them. It's not automatic, bro.
Yes. Calm down.
It cannot work like that.
Calm down now.
And I think you're alluding to the fact that if you're in a situation like that, who do you defend, your sister or your missus?
Yeah.
This is similar to my cousin once had real beef with his mom, who had beef with his wife.
Wow.
And he had to make a choice between defending his mom and defending his wife.
Let me tell
And he defended his wife.
Let me tell you when my father came through for me. When I don't remember when this was, after I got married or just before. It was like, my son, the most important thing that I can tell you is that if it ever comes down to it, it's your wife over everyone.
Right.
Because your mother has already had her chance.
Right.
And she has a protector.
Ah.
The person that you sleep with and go home to every night
is the one that you need to take care of.
So you can't be out here saying, if it ever, it's a Versa situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mother has to catch this heat. Because if it's a matter of now talking to your wife when you're at home and saying, hey, but I think hear you, but you can't have that situation where your wife feels like you are living out cold.
Yeah.
I like that actually.
So I see it when people do those stupid who should sit in the front seat?
Yeah.
Why is my mother sitting in the front seat of my car?
Yeah.
What is she? Where is the husband? She's and I'm happy that I come from people that have never put me in positions like that.
Yeah.
Because it's again to that whole thing of I think this Paul and Chioma situation, from what you guys have said, is very clearly defined. These people have not been married. So I understand why Paul has loyalty to her, because this might end.
Yeah.
But if these people find out that you were castigating them because of somebody that you're in a relationship with, that's different from married.
Funny enough, I think those two are going to get married.
Do you think so?
Wait.
That's what normally happens in
Brian,
these sort of scenarios.
Is Brent.
No?
No.
It's a show. So wait, which makes it better. I might watch it because it's a show.
Yeah.
If it's a show, so are they trying to give us talking points to expose like things that are happening? All right. That makes sense.
If it's a show and they're acting, it's too damn good. I'm choosing to believe that it's not acting.
No, but
this is reality.
no, but Tinto, no one would embarrass themselves like that. Guys, I need to place this scenario to you. No one would embarrass themselves willingly in HD
But
I understand people recording videos of you in a compromising situation and uploading them without your knowledge. When somebody catches you, no one is going to sit and be embarrassed by that guy. The short clips that I've seen where he's calling her fat and she doesn't stand up.
He didn't really call her fat.
No, but that's the insinuation.
No, he did not call her fat.
But you understood. The fact that you know what I'm talking about is you got what the insinuation.
That's because that's what people were saying.
Yes.
No. That's what.
Wait a minute.
That's what he was saying, Tinto.
Tinto explained.
This
So
is what
he
Tinto
said,
gets. He says, "What's that prophet guy?" You know, you say, "What's his name?"
Which one?
The one that Mukute always says Tinto is the whatever.
Right. Let me tell you what Paul said. I've been watching these man's moves, man. I could write that guy's autobiography or biography, whatever they call it, right? This guy said, what he does and he positions himself and he goes, Chioma, do you count the calories that you put in your body?
who says
It's
that?
a simple yes or no question, which she did not answer.
But why are
But
the
why does she
calories?
need to
Why are the calories being brought up?
Why does she need to answer that question? Why?
If we are talking about cryptocurrency, why do the calories need to be brought up?
Yeah.
If we're talking about our relationship, why do the calories need to be brought up?
Because the
Do you know what?
calories.
Okay, I'll tell you this. We still don't have an answer to that question because Chioma didn't answer it. We never got to the bottom of what Paul was trying to say.
It's like when you on the filling station, you ask that did this happen before or after he hit? They never answer, do they?
They don't usually answer.
But what's the insinuation?
The insinuation is that they did. But come on.
So the insinuation, it's in the air. It's
Tinto, what was he asking then?
He was asking a plain and simple question.
Do
You count your calories, and she did not answer. What are you guys failing to get?
Okay, Tinto, where would that have gone?
We don't know because it wasn't answered.
But all right, in the context of the conversation, you've seen this and you can make a biography. Where could this have gone?
This was likely going to lead to the discussion about how he feels about her eating patterns.
Which
he never got to that point because she didn't respond. But what he was trying to say, he might have wanted to say, hey, Chioma, do you know what? Maybe if you count your calories,
Right?
Yes.
Guys.
there could be a possibility that I'll be able to lift you up more. Because she asked him a question, when was the last time you lifted me up? That was the question.
So if I say, when was the last time you lifted me up? And my response is, do you watch your calories?
Yeah.
Why
count your calories?
What are you trying to...
Okay, Paul, my guy. Paul, my guy.
What are you trying?
I tried to defend you. I have failed. You screwed up.
My point in saying all this is no one is willing to 2 episodes is going to sit down in HD and not stand up at any point in protest.
Can I ask a trivial question though? Because she did stand up at the end
She was
because
very
she
upset.
cried. And for me, that's the question that I have to ask. Does she have a right to get up feeling all upset and blah, blah, blah about being called fat
Yes.
when she made it public that these guys have sex maybe once a year? I'll tell you this, no man on this planet wants to be known for not dishing the goods to his missus.
So you
Because there's a various
feel
number
like,
of
it was
insinuations.
retaliation?
It was clear retaliation.
So this
Obvious retaliation. I would not want to be on TV to be known that I'm not giving my missus her things because there's 2 things to think about. Is it because I can't get it up? Which is a whole big problem.
Yeah.
Or is it that I'm not interested? Which is another problem.
Right.
So that she should not have done that. If she had not done that, the fat conversation would not have come up.
But they're in therapy, so they're allowed to bring up these things. And I feel like, and this is the problem with relationships, is that you will say something that is affecting you, and then someone was going to use that against you, but not directly. You're saying, okay, so you haven't touched me in a year. And then he's like, do you count your calories? I'm bringing this to this safe space. I want us to talk about you not touching me.
So why was she upset? Because now he's clearly saying what the problem is. I'm not touching you because you're fat now.
But and that's why she said, why am I hearing this for the first time here?
But they all had everything for the first time. They heard for the first time that Paul had depression.
That's
okay.
fair.
Can I see? I'm trying to see. I think I found the. Hold on. Let me see if I can find.
I didn't say you're fat.
Babe, just say what it is.
No, I didn't say you're fat. You're the one that said you're fat. I didn't say you're fat.
So I'm fat.
I didn't say you're fat. You said you're fat. Don't put words in my mouth.
Paul, please lower your voice slightly, first of all. And secondly, would this be a reason for you not to be
with... Okay, cool. Do you know what? Do you know what, yeah? I'll be honest with you. Yeah, hand on my heart. Yeah, I swear. I will be with you through thick and thin. I promise. I was chubby before. And she loved me the same way. She used to, when I used to have my transformation
So I'm
pictures,
chubby.
she would show all my friends.
Babe, so I'm chubby.
I didn't say you're chubby. I'm speaking for myself. I said I
So
was
what does
chubby.
that even mean?
But
Why are you
this is
comparing
insecurity.
that situation?
No woman wants to hear that she's put on weight, especially by her partner, somebody she
Anyway,
finds physically attractive.
I'll stop it.
I think you get the point. Man did not say you're fat.
I mean,
I rest my case. I rest my case.
Same effect.
You didn't need to say those words.
if we're talking verbatim legally in a court of law, he didn't, but he did.
He did.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
in
where
the
the whole world
streets.
allegedly comes into play.
Oh gosh, that's a very famous word.
Yeah.
So wait, this guy's. I'm now deeply fascinated because this is Oscar level of if they're in character and whatever. But are they in a relationship to begin with?
Yeah.
Because there seems to be a backstory here that they're following, or is the script that good?
If the script is good, it's damn good. But beyond the script, the acting is phenomenal.
So here, I think they are in a relationship. I think obviously some things will be, exaggerated.
Also, it's like love and hip hop.
I think so. I think so.
For sure.
And the reason why you're like, oh, would someone embarrass themselves? HD. Because the thing is, this show is created by the same people that the same guy that created Backchat London. If you ever watched, and so Chioma was in Backchat, right? So Chioma knows the value of increasing her followership, and which I wasn't following her before. Now I'm following her. She's a very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lady. So it's one of those things where I don't underestimate these London guys.
Nah, they need to get their money, get this YouTube money.
Yeah.
But I wonder, just to kind of round off, like change in relationships, because that's clearly something like, Paul and Chioma, she has maybe increased the calorie intake, from what she used to eat when they were dating or when they first started dating. But how do you guys handle that? How do you handle change in relationship when you can see that your body is changing? Your missus' body is changing. How do you navigate that and being gentle about it? And
I think you've already answered.
By being gentle about it.
You have to have grace.
Right.
You have to have it all comes down to being kind.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because
Yeah.
no. Let me let me explain because this whole grace thing is a funny odd thing because there's a time. Okay, I remember when Anna she was born. The ladies all put on weight and stuff. Baby weight came off. Blah 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 blah. And this one day I walked into the bathroom when she was checking her weight, and all I said was "Yay!" Right?
You did not.
But no, that's all I said. I just said "Yay!" But guess what? I know she's gonna hate me for this. I know she's gonna hate me for this.
What's in the bowl?
But guess what? It worked without me even trying to say anything because even I was oblivious to it.
Oh my God.
But then I got onto the scale myself and I had the same problem. And check this out, right? I'm not digging a grave here because I'm actually trying to shine a light. She has done so well, incredibly well, to the point where now I'm the one who's looking at the scale. And I'm like, yay!
They would be deaf.
So anyway, back to Grace.
Okay.
Grace.
Just
another way.
It worked in an unexpected, unconventional, unintentional way.
So what other ways are there of doing this?
This man say, yeah.
Besides saying yay.
Maybe
Tinto. That's out of plans. Like seriously.
I wish I could show you what she looks like. She looks amazing since that day.
Maybe somebody says yay to me. Maybe
I like honestly, they would be like, I don't even know. I
That
would
would
be
be
so
a death.
mad. There would be a death. Guys.
Did you see that thing? Something online was like, oh, I'll give your family something to do next week.
Exactly.
I'll give your family a reason to come.
A reason to be together.
They haven't seen each other in a long while. I'm gonna give them a reason to gather.
I'm sorry.
My God.
That was your moment.
Madness.
Okay, that was your moment. Please go ahead with
Say,
grace.
let's on this. Just
go ahead with
sidestep
grace.
this. Just you know.
No, it's
And let's be real. Yeah.
no, it's trying
Yeyyi.
to it's trying to have grace, because I think for me, I was like, what do you mean chocolates cost £1? Let me have some of that. When I came to the UK, so I was indulging myself. I'm like, hey, what is this? What is? Oh, this dessert. Sticky. What are you saying about sticky toffee?
I know about some sticky toffee.
What do you know? So I was indulging. I was comfort eating. I missed home. So, and she treated me with grace. Because I don't look the same that I look. There's a little dead board there where the stomach is like, what's up? It's an illegal structure. It's there. It's there. So, it's that thing of just being kind to one another, because the other person knows. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
The other person knows that there's a difference here. So I don't need to add to that, because I sometimes think about how I feel about the weight. Sometimes it makes me feel sad. Sometimes I don't mind. Sometimes I don't. But what I don't want to do is to add to whatever internal struggles might be happening in the head, where I'm sorry, buddy. I'm bearing you into this. But it's that. But my thinking is everybody has their own time, right? In terms of working and their own process. Yeah. Ultimately, and the other thing also is, because as the body changes, the mind also changes. Sometimes you grow happy with how you look, and somebody else might look like, hey, but you are at peace with how you look. So I might say, like, hey, you've added some, but I'm cool. This is me now.
Yeah.
So there's no. So it might be that thing of, somebody will look and say, hey, but like in my mind, that A is like, that's me.
Yeah.
This is going to be me. I'm going to be whatever. I've rationalized it. I'm cool.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be putting pressure on because of my own projections, or I don't want anybody putting pressure on me because of their own. But it needs, I think the difference now is in marriage now. It's somewhat of a conversation. Because we are trying for each other, right? Because it's somewhat of a conversation where I kind of have to know, are you okay? Are you cool? Am I okay? Am I cool with that? So there's that trade-off where we kind of have to find the sweet spot where we are still happy with each other. Because at the end, it can't be and I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yay.
Well said, Mukudze.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Because wow.
Okay, maybe I forgot to add that I mentioned that we were quite jokey and patty. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I should have said that at the beginning. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's the context.
Okay. No, y'all were just bantering. Okay.
Right.
Now we hear you. We
get it. How are we ending off?
So we're going to end off. I'm just going to tell you guys, or not tell you, I'm going to ask you who said, right? So I've just had a look at some of your tweets, the three of you. And so before that, did you guys bring some music? Do you have a song?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll do this very quickly then.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you a tweet. I dug deep, I didn't sleep last night. So looking through some of your tweets from early.
Even Tinto's burner account.
Even Tinto's
You're probably
banner
going to find
account, so-
very little. My account, I'm not very active on Twitter.
He's very active on Instagram.
Only because I didn't figure out Twitter until
a lot.
this year.
No, but he
Okay.
still has enough stuff.
There's still
on
stuff
Twitter.
there.
There's still stuff.
So it's a game, you know. So I will tell you. Someone said this, and if it's you, can you please try and reserve a poker face? So
Right.
don't start giggling, Natasha, because you said it. Okay, so we'll just to give you an example. Somebody amongst you guys says, hold on, maybe let me start with this.
Can we guess who said it?
You guess who
Yeah.
said it, right? So somebody, for example, said, I need a burn account to be tweeting my crushes.
That's not a net.
I mean,
That is
these
Nat.
guys are in
That
relationships.
that is Nat.
Okay, it was just a
That is
stat.
Nat.
Just a stat. Okay, so somebody said, I have a good feeling about this year. And this was in the start of this year.
MK.
MK.
Why do you guys say that?
Because he just moved.
Okay.
And he was about to have the baby.
Okay. Yes.
Was it him?
Yes.
Get in.
I love the whole surprise thing, by the way.
What?
Like when I have a child, I'll do
No, but it wasn't a surprise. So much one roy.
Yes!
Abantu bayaloya.
Yes!
And do you know because of my life and what I do is pretty public. I have so I try to keep the things that I can, you know, private. Like my relationship is pretty private. People know that I'm married. Like they don't know stuff about my wife. Like they don't know stuff about our marriage and what happens down. So we've tried to keep those. And when it came to the baby, you know, it was a thing of we want to experience this by ourselves and our loved ones. It's not a public spectacle, right? Because if anything happens, God forbid, you don't want to be updating, you know, people, you know, something. It's something very personal. You don't want to be dealing with that in the public space, right? But more than that, experiencing that and have people watching your tweets or your social media because they know something about you is not something fun. So if you look at how she was tweeting or whatever she was tweeting about, you know, what if at any moment she had tweeted, I went to some exciting place and people were like, but should you be doing that? Because you're pregnant. You know, things like so we had a very peaceful pregnancy. Our friends knew. And then when we, you know, because now it's wonderful news. You know, you want to share with the also at the same time, the reason why we were very comfortable with sharing is that for me personally, it's a wonderful thing to share that we have been blessed. But also the people that support me and that have supported me have been with me from when I didn't have a wife, from when I was starting. So it felt like, you know, sharing that part of me where it's like, guys, you know, the same way I shared that I was getting married or I had gotten married. This is a part of the journey. And they celebrated with me the same way that they've always. So it was that kind of, it wasn't like, surprise album, Beyonce.
No, that was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Okay, so next one. Somebody said, and this was, I'm not too sure what was happening at this time, and maybe they can give us a bit of context. Says, that speech sets the tone for the next 4 years. No drama, no freestyling, no outlandishness, nothing particularly exciting. Steady.
It's not. She was talking about Joe Biden's inauguration speech.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Martin, you're in tune, Yana.
No, I know how not to.
Nats, is it you?
Finish off.
Steady hands are on the wheel now.
Really not?
A complete departure from the upcoming magician they had running the ship before. So
It
it's definitely
makes
about
it
politics.
makes sense. That sounds very Nat.
It sounds like me, I think.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It
It's
sounds like
actually,
it is
it's
you.
actually people could say.
What? No way.
I love it. You're like, that's definitely Nats. And that's me.
That's definitely not, because do you know why? Do you know why I say that?
This is not in code.
No, the part where the upcoming magician, I was like, that might not be Nat. Because where you kept it where it was, Nat had a similar tweet.
I think
because we
so.
tweeted this on the same day. So where you continued and said upcoming magician, I was like,
Right.
wait. I was like, wait.
This
but
sounds a bit familiar.
yeah, that's okay. This
That's a
game
good
is
one. Well done.
okay. Now, please finish the tweet.
Okay, now allow me to finish. Okay, a couple more. Somebody said, when you look at the map of Africa, Nigeria looks like the armpit of Africa. This was back in 2016.
That is Mukudze.
Finish off.
No, I finished. # Nigeria.
Yeah, it's Mukudze.
Nah.
He's the owner who talk about body parts like that.
Nah, that's
Sounds
not.
like a joke. No, it's
that's-
not me.
It's Mukudze.
I don't think it's me.
And
no.
it's comedy. It's a
Nah,
joke.
That's not.
Nah.
It's me.
It's Tinto.
What? What the hell was I
This is
talking
from your
about?
burner account. I don't know. It's got one retweet and no other comments. It was just literally just the most random thing.
Why the hell would I be talking about freaking
This is a
armpits?
good
And
game.
Nigeria.
This is a good game. I love this game.
This is the Elder Tinto coming out.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking about body parts. Oh shit!
You want to talk about bodies?
That rings no bell.
Okay. Last one. Then we'll go into music.
Yeah.
The amount of books that came out about the Trump presidency from former Trump staffers should have told us that this one should have told us
Nat.
Finish off.
should have told us that this one thing that there wouldn't be a second term.
Nat.
I think it's Mukudze.
I have way too many political tweets. Why? I thought.
I think it's
If you go Nat's
because
bio.
I never thought I didn't think he wouldn't get a second term.
Yeah, no, that was me.
Oh, it was you.
Must be
Yeah, it was
Mukudze.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I remembered.
Yeah.
That
Y'all
one I
are politically charged.
That one I remember. Yeah, the upcoming it tripped me. That one tripped me.
That armpit one
that's
is one hell of a trip.
No, this is a good game.
Show me that thing.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Back in 2016. And then there's someone who did a poll asking if mermaids exist.
It must be Tinto.
Yeah, it's definitely Tinto.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you guys say that?
He would ask random.
Yeah.
you would ask.
Mermaids.
Yeah.
That's the kind of Tinto. That's Tinto's content.
Nah.
It is you.
Yeah, now, how good was my poker face? It was decent, wasn't it? Yeah, that was the whole point. Now, of course,
And then you started
of course,
overacting at some point.
Of course,
You
I'm
started
asking
over-
about
you
Started
mermaids.
doing a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, that was a good game.
That was a good game. It was really interesting seeing what
Yeah.
you guys. I mean, Natasha, I tried the things that I put on here. It's about crushes. It's very political. It's about relationships. You tweeted a lot about sports as well.
Yeah, because no one is dragging anyone
Manche-
who loves, you don't get dragged for liking your football team.
Oh, yeah.
You tweet your personal opinion like, why do you think like that? Why do you think that? I'm like, hey, man,
I'm just here.
Especially now that I don't have a podcast, because previously when I saw something that I didn't like, I would
You take
dedicate
it.
30 minutes to address like, hey, that is wrong because A, B, C, D.
I've got one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who tweeted this? Not gonna lie. I love him. He's sturdy. Love struck emoji. He's fast. He responds every time I touch him.
Why would men be talking like that? It's not me. It's not Mukudze.
Can you finish
It
the-
can only be Xolie.
Do you know what I mean? Like, come on.
It can only be you.
No, she had to balance.
Why did he do to you this guy?
Michelle.
We have got 10 minutes.
Michelle,
Can you finish off
we
the
don't care about the ending of the tweet. Michelle,
Tell us.
What tell
happened?
us. Tell us.
I think it's important to kind of get to the end of it.
No. It's fine.
We've got enough information.
It's fine.
I was
Because I don't.
Can I read it again, please?
Yes.
Not gonna lie.
No, please put the
Mukudze, you're a
feeling-
stickler for detail.
Please put
6 dots.
Please put
I
the
love
filling
him.
station voice.
He is sturdy. What do you describe as sturdy in a man? think about that. Secondly,
I
yeah,
hate you all.
the next part, he is fast. I'll be worried about that. Something about it sounds dodgy.
Yeah.
He responds every time I touch him. My guy.
Which is what you want.
Every time. Listen, listen. Look at me. I'm. Start again.
All right.
Start again.
Guys,
Not gonna lie,
Wait. Okay.
I love him.
Yeah.
He is sturdy. He is fast. He responds every time I touch him. It is so damn.
can you edit?
No, don't finish it. Don't finish. That's it. Is that not the whole thing? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's all that. This is not a PF. This is not a PF10. This is. I was talking about my car.
Yeah, no, actually, you know, to be fair, she's got the hashtag girls with marks.
You guys made me hot there for bloody hell. Like honestly. Music.
Okay.
Music.
But
Send your-
were you talking about your car?
That's the thing.
Well,
Because I remember a time when these things kind of coincided.
That's why I like you, Mukuse.
Can you elaborate?
We don't have this. This is
No, we do.
We do have time.
Don't waste our time then.
Don't have time.
Don't waste our time
I
then.
don't think I've ever
Just
seen you
listen.
blushing before.
like honestly, I am hot.
She's
You guys-
red.
Yo,
Like this is.
Do you follow her on Instagram?
I do.
don't know.
Religiously.
You are literally
on your-
breathing deep.
About the time of the reveal.
Thank you,
I know.
thank you, Brent. Thank you. I appreciate
on your
air conditioning.
on your birthday, there were several unaccounted for gifts. They were not. I know Tamara didn't.
Guys, we've got 7 minutes to do the music.
Yeah, so don't waste our time. Say
And listen. I am a woman of very few words,
Yes.
and you know that's.
Now you're a
But
woman of very few words.
action.
Guys, honestly, you know, I don't know if you guys are saying the same thing. She is genuinely flustered.
Hot, like bloody hell.
Yes.
Like so what?
Yes.
I'm hot.
Okay.
Hard.
What's happening? Girls with Max and what else?
Yes.
And girls with the men.
Elaborate. Okay, thank you.
Thank you both for coming and making me feel very uncomfortable. I appreciate you all for coming on this Sunday.
That's cool.
Music.
Girls with men. Oh my God.
I'm actually sweating. That's bloody hell.
Listen,
Like, honestly.
so we're looking forward to our 70 coffees.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
Okay,
incredible.
music. Mukuse, what particular song would you like us
No,
to play?
start with
Tinto.
Mine is this is my song of the moment. It's Woza by Jazzy Q. WOZA. And I really got into it when I saw those boys dancing on a zebra crossing in their towels and the whole. Oh,
what
my
a
God.
nuisance those guys are. I would run over them. What the heck? Can you imagine?
I would run over there.